If the Fed is creating trillions of dollars, you should know exactly what it is and who runs it. Well, surprise, surprise. Here is the first surprise. The Federal Reserve is not technically part of the federal government. It is what economists call a quasi-public, quasi-private institution, a hybrid. At the top sits the Board of Governors in Washington. Those seven people appointed by the president and confirmed by the Senate. That part sounds governmental. But underneath these individuals sit 12 regional Federal Reserve banks: New York, Chicago, San Fran, and so on. Those 12 regional banks are technically private corporations. Their stock is held by member banks in the region, the Chase, the City, the Bank of America. So when you ask who owns the Fed, the honest answer is it is a public mission run through a private structure designed to designed to be insulated from political pressure. Designed to be insulated from political pressure. All right. The president nominates the chair. Congress can grill the chair, and most recently they've been doing that. But neither can directly veto the Fed's decision on rates or money creation. That is by design. So when you ask who owns the Fed, the honest answer is it's complicated. It's complicated. So in November of 1910, six men get on a private train. So how did all this stuff get here? In New Jersey and ride south to a remote members only hunting club on a barrier island off the coast of Georgia. The place was called Jekyll Island. They use only first names, like they were really on some mission, impossible type movement, right? They told their staff they were going duck hunting, but they were not going duck hunting. They were drafting the blueprint for what would become the Federal Reserve System. The names on that train should sound a little familiar. Their fingerprints are still all over your financial life. Senator Nelson Aldrich, the father-in-law of John D. Rockefeller Jr., Henry Davidson, a partner at J.P. Morgan and Company, the firm today that is J.P. Morgan Chase, Frank Vanderlip, the head of National City Bank of New York, which today you know as Citibank, Paul Warburg of the legendary Warburg banking family, plus a couple of other senior bankers and Treasury officials. 3 years later, in 1913, Congress passed the Federal Reserve Act and Woodrow Wilson signed it into law. The blueprint sketched on Jekyll Island became the central bank of the United States. You correctly remembered the broad story. The meaning is real, the names are real. What gets exaggerated is a conspiracy framing. The Federal Reserve Act was openly debated for years, but it is fair to say the modern central bank of the United States was sketched out in secret by some of the most private and powerful bankers in the country. So what does the Fed actually do? And so again, if those that are watching this, you can see the list of the six individuals that were there. So from Abraham Andrew, Charles Norton, um, you can see the delineation of their wealth as mentioned today. So the Fed has a dual mandate written into law: one, maximum employment; two, stable prices, defined as both 2% inflation per year. To pull those levers, the Fed sets the federal funds rate, which ripples out into your credit card, your car loan, your mortgage. It regulates banks. It acts as the lender of last resort, stepping in with emergency cash when a bank or even a country is about to collapse. And in extreme cases, it performs quantitative easing. That is your central bank, not the IRS, not the Treasury, not Congress, a separate independent institution that controls the temperature of the entire economy. And right now, the person at the wheel is good old Jerome Rome, for now, the current Fed chair. Appointed during the Trump administration and reappointed under Biden. And when you hear news about the Fed raise rates or the Fed signal to pause, they're usually talking about decisions made by the Federal Open Market Committee or the Fed chair, which is the 12-person body that votes on monetary policy 8 times a year. Every one of those meetings can move markets by trillions of dollars within minutes. That is how much the weight how much weight the Fed carries.